see. Here we go. Welcome to another edition of Interruptions. I'm your host, Otis Smith. My next guest is a Heisman Trophy winner, a Davy O'Brien winner, a national champion in football. He's also a first round pick in the NBA draft in 1994. He is one of the best athletes of all time to me that never get talked about being able to play two sports. I'm talking no other than Heisman Trophy winner, Mr. Charlie Ward. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Otis. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Once again, like I said, I appreciate you blessing us with your presence. Um, I do feel like a lot of times when they talk about, top athletes, athletes of all time, a lot of times you get left out of the conversation, and it takes nothing away from great players like Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson, but they forget you played two sports at a time that the conference you was in the ACC was doing well in football, and we know the ACC is a powerhouse basketball league.
Yes, I was blessed to be able to play both sports. I enjoyed playing sports. I have a book out called The Athlete, and
Okay.
that's one of the reasons why I continue to play football and basketball in college is because I enjoy it. But, um, you know, whether I get recognized or whatever the case may be, that's not my biggest, issue.
Sure.
Not that I don't care, but it's great if someone does recognize and honor and all those types of things. But I always just talk about the process and the
Mhm.
experience that I was able to gain while competing in two sports at a high level, and also get my degree. And that just goes along with just appreciating all the things people were able to help me to accomplish and giving me opportunities to be able to fulfill the goals and the dreams and the desires that I had, in college, because you only have one time in college.
Right.
Um, as an athlete, you have one time, and you only have 5 years to get your years in. But I was just going to enjoy all the experiences, and being an athlete was something that I was and I did, and I enjoyed it.
What made you choose Florida State? Why Florida State?
Well, my last two choices came down to University of Georgia or Florida State, and when it was all said and done, Coach Bowden allowed Brad Johnson to play basketball and football, and he was a
Okay.
quarterback as well. And
Right.
so all the other, Coach Dooley and Coach Golf, who was recruiting me, Ray Golf, they were saying I could play basketball and what have you, but they had never allowed anyone to do it. So I was going with Coach Bowden because he told me and my parents that I would have an opportunity to play basketball, and I was going to hold him to that. And I knew that he had history on his side of allowing guys to do that. Then they had to make a decision on whether they were going to continue or not. That was their decision. So that's how essentially why I chose Florida State outside of playing for Coach Bowden and also being close to my hometown of Thomasville, Georgia.
Man, we hurt now. I'm hurt now because you got. I'm from Georgia, grew up in Georgia. Man, we sitting here when this aired, everybody gonna be like, "Oh man, no! You mean to tell me Charlie Ward could have played for Georgia?" But
Yeah.
that's an interesting story because didn't know that. And you segue into my next question, which was, how was it? What was that experience like playing for Coach Bowden?
I was definitely a very good experience. I knew going in that he was a legend because when he came to our school, everyone was like, "Hey, that's Coach Bowden,"
Right.
and for him to come and he was watching me, of course, you're happy and grateful for that experience. But just to have an opportunity to be able to play for him and understanding the type of man that he is, being able to be up close and personal and seeing how he conducts business each and every day. He's just a great role model on the Christian being a Christian,
Yes.
living it out, the way he treats people, the way he engages with those on the outside and inside, and just his heart for the guys that he coached, and then allowing the coaches to coach. So those were just great memories that I had of him, and a lot of things that I'm doing today, is a hodgepodge of a lot of coaches that
Sure.
I played for, but he was one of the ones from a Chris perspective that held coaches accountable for cursing. And so that's one of the things that I work towards today with my coaches. I'm coaching high school boys basketball down at Florida High, and so that's one of the things that I learned from him, that if we can hold ourselves accountable as coaches, then we
Sure.
can hold the kids accountable in that area as well.
Oh man, that's great. I love that, man. Wow, that you just blew me away with that, and because you're talking about the man, not so much the coach, but the man, and the man helped take care of the football side. It was going to take care of itself because you knew he knew football, but it was more so being the man.
Right.
What kind of person that is. So, how was it for you that feeling when you achieved winning the David O'Brien Award, which is the best quarterback in the country, and then topped it off with the Heisman?
Well, all the awards at the time were, appreciated,
Mm-hmm.
especially individual awards, but they were appreciated. Like the AAU National Player of the Year.
Right.
That one was a shocker because I didn't know that I would be at that level,
Okay.
or be able to win that. But you know, it was something that I understood, but didn't fully appreciate at the time. I
Sure.
appreciated the honor, but my main goal was to try to win a national championship, and so those were some of the things that I wanted. One of the things I wanted to accomplish, and whenever you have success, then the awards will come,
True.
and whether it's individual, whether it's team, and so I'm grateful that I had some very good teammates that made me look good. Um, whether it's basketball, football, but just being able to being in a successful program,
Mm-hmm.
being around guys that were playing for one another, all those things go a long ways in building great team chemistry and winning. And so the individual awards, just a byproduct of team success.
Well, the one thing I can say and tip my hat off to you that I appreciate it. You reminded me in a sense, even though you wore the same number, but you remind me in a sense of Doug Williams, which was that quarterback that was kind of counted out, but as a race of African Americans, were cheering you, and rooting you on. But you won with style and grace. Like you just went about your business. It wasn't just like you said, it was about the team success, right? And the awards came, but you never was not like, look at me, look at me, look at me. But we couldn't help but look at you because, as you know, in the time frame that you came along, there wasn't that many African American quarterbacks running like a pro style offense. In the time you came, a lot of times African American quarterback was running, the option at the time. Wasn't that many at a program like you were at and able to showcase, playing, running a pro style offense. So I just appreciate your demeanor and the way you carried yourself, during that time, and just being a good example.
Well, Doug Williams was my hero, and the reason why I chose 17 was because of him. And he was a great inspiration to me, being an African American and winning Super Bowl. One of the first black quarterbacks
Yeah.
at the time to win a Super Bowl, and so um, that was one of the reasons why I chose 17. And I don't know about the demeanor, but that was just the way I was.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You just being you, not that you were doing anything, extraordinary. It's just, you can only be you, right? And so, what you being you, you never know who's watching and how you're influencing them by just being yourself.
Yeah.
And
Now
so,
one things I didn't like at the time and
hmm
had to come to grips with and appreciate and kind of fall in love with that whole
sure,
process was being in the limelight. I didn't like it. My mom and I had knockdown, drag out talk, and she was trying to encourage me that this is what you're going to have to be. And I just didn't like being that person. But it's something I had to embrace because of the
sure,
position.
sure.
And now I know that it's afforded me great opportunities um, to be able to share my story. It gave me a platform to be able to share my faith. And so, as much as I was resisting and fighting,
Sure.
I started to understand that there was a purpose for it, that God was placing me in this position for a reason. And so I had to embrace that.
But it's funny how sometimes God will push us out when we don't want to be pushed out. The father sometimes like, no, go ahead and go out there. I got you.
Right,
And
right,
we're like, nah, that's not my thing. He's like, no, I'm gonna make it your thing. Go on out there.
right. That is true. It's
Yeah.
definitely a
So
faith journey.
yeah, and you involved well. How was that process like when you got ready to be drafted, first round in the NBA draft. And, there was at that time, talk about playing in the NFL, the knock of whether you are a pro quarterback or whatever, and you chose to play in the NBA. What was your mindset? What was that like for you at that time?
Well, going into my senior year, I was
Mm-hmm.
going to play football, and then I made a decision I was going to play basketball as well. And so with that, uh, I didn't forfeit my last year of basketball at Florida State to go and prepare for the combine, like most of the guys did.
Sure.
And so I continued to play basketball because I was a senior guard on the basketball team, and I wanted to keep my options open when it came to the NBA as well. So I made that decision, and I wasn't 100% committed to the NFL process. I
Okay.
missed the combine because I had a basketball game that Saturday that the combine was happening.
Sure.
And I went back to the second combine where they come with the doctors to check, the players' injuries and those
Mm-hmm.
types of things. And then I had a pro day on campus for football. But when it was all said and done, I wasn't really 100% committed to that whole process. But I put a lot of my time and effort after my senior year in basketball into preparing for the NBA process because that's where I was really behind.
Okay.
So I was dibbling and dabbling after during that time. I was back and forth between throwing the football to some teammates just to get prepared for pro day,
Sure.
and then I was spending more time working on my left hand crossover, shooting mid-range shots, 3-point shots, so that I can get prepared for that because that's where I was kind of behind. And so I put more of my eggs in or more of my time into that basket. And that's, God closed the door for the NFL due to, me not being 100% committed and the NFL
Sure.
not feeling like I was 100% committed to be able to draft me in a round where people need to be 100% committed. And so I just knew the consequences for my actions or my decision.
hmm
And I had to live with those consequences, which I was willing to do.
Well, hey, we enjoyed you playing in the NBA, and you played for a long time. So I would say by God, you allowing God to steer you in that direction. You made a great choice. And because basketball, it can be a little bit more longevity than football.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you that you played both of them. When was that point, or was it a point that you got to that you felt like I can play with these guys at the NBA level?
Well, I never got to that point. For me, it was just an opportunity. I knew I was going to compete, and I needed to improve. So whenever, I went through the whole NBA process, and it really happened when I was competing on doing the process. At the NBA combines,
Mm-hmm.
the individual workouts. I got an opportunity to compete against Penny Hardaway when I went to Orlando,
Okay.
and did okay against him. Just because my whole thing was these guys have been playing basketball all their lives. That's the only thing they've been doing. I've been playing it, half and half, going back between football and basketball, but basketball was more the side job at the time. And so my whole mindset was I just need to find a way to compete
Sure.
and play even with these guys in some form or fashion, not trying to score the basketball. That wasn't my strength, but do all the other little things. And so that was my main goal when it came down to how I was going to be able to make it. And once I went through that whole process, I knew that I could, play in the NBA. I know there was another level,
Right.
from that, but
Right.
I think the day that I competed against Penny Hardaway when I went to the Magic workout was probably the time that I felt like I can, have a career.
I want to segue. Tell me about your foundation and what you guys do at your foundation and what you're doing with that, and what it's all about.
Well, our foundation is Charlie and Tanja Ward Family Foundation, and it's a family foundation because we support our daughter.
Oh,
She has what she calls holiday notes, and so
okay.
it's she use she's a sports and music um, person,
Okay.
and she uses her music to be able to help the elderly with encouraging them on holidays.
Okay.
And so she plays the viola, she plays the piano, she
Okay.
plays with drums, um, the guitar. So she plays a lot of instruments, and then she brings some of her friends into the mix, and they family and friends into the mix to come up with musical selections to be able to encourage those homes,
Mhm.
assisted living homes
True.
during that time, during the holidays. Well, we started out going to the assisted living homes, but
Okay.
since COVID, she started doing videos
True.
and sending them to those homes. She's done some VA hospital um, serenades as well. And so
Okay.
that's one of the things we do um, from our foundation. We also support youth organizations. We do hurricane relief
Okay.
efforts. We join forces with other hurricane relief efforts to
Okay.
be able to help support those families as well. So that's normally what our foundation is doing, and we're actually getting ready to go to Hong Kong
Oh,
um,
wow.
next year. We're going to Hong Kong to join forces with Feed Asia, and
Okay.
so it's a homeless uh, feed the
Oh,
community
sure.
organization.
All right. Well, I will make sure on the when I air this that I will make sure I put the website up where people can go click on it and find more and more about your foundation and how they can contribute and be a part of what you're doing. This next question I have for you is kind of like a two-part question, and what I wanted to know is when you were playing, whether it was basketball or football, when you were playing, what when you was an athlete, what inspired you? And now that you're not playing, what inspires you?
Um, what inspired me? Well, just having goals, being a part of a team, something bigger than yourself, is kind of what you kind of live for or want to do.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to have influence on a team, whether it's football, basketball,
Sure.
or just your family, being able to give them experiences as well. And so, you know, that is one of the things that inspired me to make sure that I did everything that I was supposed to do so that I can just have opportunities outside of what I grew up knowing. And so just a different experience of, going to Florida State, which was close to home, but being able to use that platform to be able to give me a boost to be able to go to the NBA, or be able to experience some different things. And so I'm grateful for that. But what I do now that I'm not playing, I'm coaching. And so I
Mm-hmm.
just inspire young men or women, whomever want to listen, with the experiences that I've been able to have over the course of my career. I want to be able to share that with those young men or women that I come in contact with. And so those are, reasons why, outside of my family as
Sure.
well. I have a wife and 3 kids, and so I just want to make sure that I'm doing my part while I'm here on Earth to be able to leave a legacy.
My last final question for you. When you look back over where you started from, Thomasville, Georgia, to your beautiful family that you have, your career that you have, how did you get there? What would you say the thing that got you there?
Well, it was a daily grind, and definitely, having a relationship with the Lord put things in perspective, which means, the good times are going to happen. You have to enjoy those. The bad times are going to happen. You have to enjoy those. And whether it's good or bad, you still have to learn from them. And each and every day, I always talk about enjoy the moment. Whatever the moment is, you have to enjoy that because there will be lasting memories.
Sure.
And so I just think that it's important that I just think that it's important that while I was going through the journey, I was
Mm-hmm.
enjoying every step of it. Sometimes we try to get ahead of it, but if you enjoy every moment, then you won't have any regrets. And so I just don't regret anything that I've done because I know it's developed and helped me to become the type of man that I am today, whether it's positive or negative. And so we just have to, I just had to look at life through the lens of God, and have a relationship with Him. But of course, we're all human and we have our moments where we struggle and we
Right.
just need someone to encourage us. So that's how I was able to make it through. People encouraging me to grow and go get close to the Lord, and grow in my walk with Him, and also just enjoying every moment, putting one step in front of the other.
Right.
Also having goals, you have your goals, but you have to make sure that you're aligning what you do daily to meet
Mm-hmm.
those goals. And then if you get off track, then someone need to help redirect you. So I'm grateful that I've had people to encourage me, hold me accountable, through to the things that I wanted, you know,
Right.
and then I pursued it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Great encouragement, great words that you spoke, and I thank you for your time and you letting us a little bit in on your life and from the past to the present and what you're gonna have going forward. Love to have you back on the show at a later time. Your schedule permits. But once again, thank you for being that class act. Just far as just being yourself, being that class act, man. And stay that. You have an Instagram page?
Yes, I'm at
Oh,
Real Charlie Ward.
all right, I'm gonna send you because some things that you said, as far as about encouragement and all that. And sometimes as even a greater person as you are, sometimes everybody needs encouragement. So there's a
Right.
couple of interviews I did. I'm gonna send to you. I'm gonna just send the clips to you, and that way, anytime you going through something, or you can share with your team. Um, it goes to what you were saying about persevering and fighting through. And if you get off track, just kind of come back. So I'm gonna send those, to you. But once again, I appreciate you coming on the show and blessing us with your presence. And just stay safe and stay blessed out there. And we appreciate you once again.
All right. I appreciate it, Otis.
Peace.
Have a good one.
You too.